around 3 to 4 years back, my days consisted of just going to school. I was a full-time student at the time. I would come back from school, study. I would work under my dad at his factory. He owned a factory, and I would work there on the weekends or sometimes after school as well. And on my spare time, when I did have spare time, I would pretty much just indulge myself in video games. So my days were pretty stacked, to say the least. I didn't have a lot of, I did have free time, but obviously I was playing video games. And at the time, I was really lonely, right? Because the things I just described earlier, I mean, none of those are particularly really social activities. Obviously, school is very social, but I was obviously a social outcast, of course. So I didn't really have many people I could speak to about my personal issues and shit, my loneliness and stuff. And what else did I do? Yeah, obviously there was no one I could really talk to in my dad's factory either. My family was quite closed off. I didn't really want to. Actually, to be fair, I was the one that was closed off to my family, but I didn't really want to speak to anyone really. And the only social place I did get was from video games, right? But that's a more superficial type of fix, because it's not a real human connection. And to top everything all off, I was skinny fat and ugly. And I knew at the time building an attractive physique would help me to get this social connection that I was missing. I knew that building a good physique could help me get the girls that I did want, because I was genuinely very lonely at the time. But again, I had this thought in my mind that was like, if I were to go through this journey of, going to the gym every day, I would need to spend at least like 8 to 10 hours per week, in the gym itself. And then not only that, but then I'd also have to focus on my diet, fix everything up, eat bland shit food, and then it would just take too much of my time, and it's like, I can't be fucked. And so I didn't really try. But looking back on that assumption, like 4 years later, I genuinely couldn't be further from the truth. That couldn't be further from the truth. Like a year after that point, when I actually did start going to the gym and start lifting some weights, I only went to the gym like 3 to 4 times a week. And 45 minutes per workout. Think about that for a second. 45 minutes per workout, 3 to 4 times a week. That's like what? That's like 3 hours at most per week. And I actually did build a good amount of muscle during that time. Obviously, my training is a little bit different now, but during that period, I did build a good amount of muscle, and I did, have a pretty good physique with only 45-minute workouts, 3 to 4 times a week. Time isn't the constraint here, guys. You can absolutely build the physique of your dreams with being busy. If right now you're working a 9 to 5, you're just a really busy person, you have a really tight schedule, you can absolutely build your dream physique. Time really isn't the constraint. Alrighty, so in this video I'm going to be covering absolutely all the information you need to build. Look at the mailman over there. Oh, there my dogs go. Yep. In this video I'm going to be covering... I'll just wait for the mailman to go so the dogs stop barking. Give me a second. Okay, in this video I'm going to be going over everything you need to know in terms of building a good physique with as little time as possible. Alright, just a quick intro before we get into the meat and potatoes of the video. My name is Manish, and I help busy men build 10 out of 10 physiques without taking too much of their time. So this is a quick plug. You can skip this part if you want, but if you do work a 9 to 5 job right now, if you do really have a busy schedule, a really tight schedule, and you are serious about wanting to build a good physique, even with the tight schedule you do have, the first link in the down in the description below is going to be a free booking call link, right? You can book a free call with me, and I can assess your own situation, see where I can help you out. So if you are a busy guy, feel free to check that out. But onto the video. Alrighty, starting with time isn't the constraint. Okay, so I don't have enough time is probably the biggest excuse given by people in their 20s, people in their 30s, just there's people who have a really tight schedule. And is that really a valid excuse for not wanting to build your dream body? Well, I mean, to be fair, it actually could be, because the way most people train, it's with a lot of volume, right? 3 to 4 sets per exercise per workout, like 5 to 6 to 7 exercises per workout. And these sets take a while. These sets genuinely do take a while. You do one set and then you have to rest for like 3 minutes afterwards, and then you do your second, rest again 3 minutes, again. And that just takes a lot of time out of your day, right? And it makes the workout a lot longer than it should be, like an hour and a half to 2 hours, maybe even longer, right? It takes a while. So volume is genuinely the main concern that needs to be changed in order to lower the amount of time we spend within the gym. And then you might tell me, like, don't you need to train with volume to actually build muscle? Yeah, but there is a different way of training that absolutely does work with scientific evidence, with anecdotal evidence. There's literally, like, and my personal experience as well, it does work. And you need to train like a minimalist. There was a bodybuilder called Dorian Yates. You've probably heard of him. He won like Mr. Olympia like fucking 5 times over. Some shit's crazy, right? The way he trained, right? He would do get this, right? He would do 1 set per exercise to absolute failure and beyond. But he would only do 3 to 6 exercises per muscle group per week. So pretty much, let's say, but he would only do 5 sets of chest per week. But those 5 sets would be like excruciatingly intense, right? More intense than any of the sets I've ever done in my life. Those are the intensity those sets were done at. And bro, 3 to 6 sets per muscle group per week is nothing, bro. That's nothing. So if you really do value your time and you do have a really tight schedule, the best thing you can do is lower the amount of volume you do. But again, like I was explaining before, right? If you lower the volume, what do you have to do? You have to increase the intensity, okay? You can't be doing like 1 set and then you keep on doing this and then you put the weight down. No. The muscle doesn't have a need to grow if you train like that, right? If you're doing higher volume, then yeah, sure. But if you do value your time and you want to train with lower amounts of volume, to take less time out of your day, you need to up the intensity. And you do this by there's a couple different ways. But first, let me explain this, right? If you have fewer sets and you need to do them with sheer intensity, sheer fucking bloody manly intensity, bro, the lower volume, higher intensity approach genuinely does lead to a more better execution and a better focus for each individual set done, right? Pretty much you're not just going through the range of motions just like mindlessly, right? You're actually mindful about everything that you're doing, because you know that this is the only set you get. And if you don't push this to the absolute limit, you're toast. You don't have another chance. So what you do, you push it to your limits. You're fucking hyper focused on executing this set to pure perfection. So a lower volume, higher intensity approach will make you train more efficiently, effectively, and it'll probably lead to more muscle gain, right? It will save you a lot of more time. There's a couple different ways on increasing the intensity. First off, you just push till failure. That's like the bare minimum. Honestly, that's the bare minimum. If you do a low volume approach, you have to push every set to failure. There's no, there's no outing of this. Like every set you have to do has to look like this. The last rep has to be a really slow grinding rep, right? And you shouldn't be able to get the weight up after that. No matter how much you try, you shouldn't be able to get the weight up on your last rep. That's how hard you need to be training for a lower volume, higher intensity approach. And then even further than that, there's a couple different intensity techniques that I like to do to go beyond failure, right? This is past failure, and this is what Dorian Yates used to do. Pretty much all of his sets is go beyond failure, because he knew that his muscles won't grow if he didn't go beyond this failure point, because why should a muscle grow if it's not failing? Right? It needs to get better. So you make it fucking kill itself, basically. And the first intensity technique I like to use is drop sets. Let's say you're doing like a machine shoulder press, 30 kgs. You fail on the 12th rep. Nice. Drop the weight to 20 kgs. Pump out another 8 reps, but make sure that you keep the form the same. That's the main thing here. And then drop it again, 15 kgs. Do another six reps. Do it again. Like drop it again, fucking 10 kgs. Do another 4 reps. And by then your shoulders are toast, right? And you don't really need another set after that. You can do the same thing with dumbbells, a barbell even. It's a bit harder on a barbell, but it's easier on other things, harder on other things to do a drop set. It varies from exercise to exercise. Some things you don't even need to do a drop set, to be fair. But you can also do a rest pause set. This is where you keep the weight the same. After you go to failure, let's say, yeah, again, you go to failure on a set. This time, instead of dropping the weight like a drop set, you keep the weight the same, but you wait 30 seconds in between the, in between going again. So pretty much is this like a normal set, except you wait very short, like a very short amount of time, and then just pump it again. Try to get a couple more reps in, and then do it again, rest pause for maybe like 30 seconds again. Do it again, do it again. It's kind of this, it's pretty much the same thing as a drop set, except you're not really lowering the weights, you're just altering the time between the, between when you go to failure to doing it again. And the last intensity technique that I really like, this is probably my favorite one, and it's getting a friend to help you on getting some partial reps at the end, right? This is brutal. Let's say on the preacher curl machine, right? You're doing curls on the curling machine. When you get to your 10th rep and you finish that, my fucking thing just clicked. And you get a friend to, let's say you get a friend to help you on the front, and he slowly pushes the weight just a little bit, just with a little bit of force, not so much that, it doesn't even feel like you're doing any of the work anymore. He just slowly pushes it to where it feels like you're still the one that's doing most of the work, but you can actually get a couple more reps in after you've actually gone to failure. This is fucking brutal, bro, because this actually keeps the it keeps the burn and the tension of your previous 10 reps that you did with the same amount of weight, right? And this absolutely fucking tears the muscle and absolutely just destroys the muscle, right? You can do the same thing on a bench press. Literally, if you have a training partner, this is perfect for that, right? So these are the 3 intensity techniques I like to use. Obviously, the main part is doing at least one of these every single one of your sets, right? Because if you're taking this lower volume approach, you need to up the intensity. Alrighty, the next thing is to ensure progressive overload. Progressive overload is pretty much the main indicator that you're actually building muscle. Pretty much what it is you're either getting stronger. Pretty much progressive overload it does mean you're getting stronger, which is a direct indication of muscle growth. So how do you actually progressively overload? Well, you add weight or reps per exercise. Next week, the week after, let's say you do bench press this week, you got 50 kgs with 10 reps. Next week, you're going to go for 11 reps, 12 reps. Kind of progressively overload the weight there, the reps, right? And then a couple weeks later, you upgrade to 52.5 kgs. You see how it's linear like that, and it allows progression, right? It's an indicator that you actually are building muscle, because strength is a direct correlation of muscle growth. And yeah, just make sure that you're at least increasing the weights or your reps for every single, well, it doesn't have to be every single, obviously some exercises you'll 100% be able to progressively overload way quicker than others, right? Like for a squat, you'll be able to get stronger way quicker on that than something like a lateral raise, because it's a compound exercise versus isolation exercise. But yeah, man, exercises that are isolation, don't worry about progressively overloading. Obviously, you should, see the big picture, and you should be able to progressively overload from month to month on like things like a bicep curl, lateral raises and stuff. But things on compound, like big movements like compound movements, bench press, squat, you should be able to progress on that week to week, if not every 2 weeks. And if you aren't progressing on that, switch it up. Switch up your exercise variety. Switch up what exercise you do. Literally all you need to do is search up on YouTube. Like if you, let's say you plateau on a bench press, right? You stop making progress on a bench press. You're stuck at 55 kgs for 6 reps. Next week, search up bench press alternatives on YouTube. Do a fucking flat dumbbell press instead. Do a flat machine press. And bro, I guarantee you, if you stick to one of those alternative exercises for like 4 to 5 to maybe even 6 weeks, and then you come back to the bench press afterwards, you will be stronger on the bench press. But you're probably going to get like 55 for 8 or more even. Because you let your muscles, you've kind of shocked the muscles, and because if you keep doing the same shit, you're not going to get, why are you expecting different results? So make sure to always switch it up when you do actually plateau and you start making progress on specific things, right? You need to listen to your own body. And how to know you actually are, progressively overloading. Obviously, you should be tracking the amount of weights and the reps and the sets you do per exercise, per workout. I mean, that's definitely a way to do it. But again, if you want to take the more brain dead approach and kind of just take every set to failure, don't really worry about the weights and the reps because that does take a lot of time, right? So if you don't really want to worry about that, then that's fine, man. Just train out of your mind. And if you feel like you're not really making progress on a specific lift, then switch it up. Moving on to your diet, right? This is a massive part of why people get turned off by the gym, especially busy guys, especially 9-to-5ers. And meal prep does take a while. Like eating the right stuff, preparing your meals, it does take a while. Or does it? Honestly, bro, it only takes me like 1.5 hours per week to meal prep my entire week. Around 7 meals. Meal prep around 7 meals in like 1.5 hours. And I mean, that's just like the cooking and the preparation part. Obviously, you need to go shopping and stuff. But bro, honestly, like 1.5 hours out of your week just to, like, think about. Let's say you meal prep your entire week on Sunday, right? Monday throughout Sunday, you do it on Sunday. It only takes you 1.5 hours. Chances are, bro, that time that you spend, this is just for lunch, by the way. Like, if you want to just meal prep your lunch, at least that's what I do. But that time that you've saved, you don't have to go out and buy lunch anymore. You don't have to make it at home. That probably did save you time anyways. So it's not really an issue of time constraint. In fact, it probably helps you with time in the long run, right? You're doing this all in one setting instead of, waiting for your future self to deal with what lunch you're going to have that day. You get what I'm saying, right? This genuinely does save you time. So time isn't the constraint in terms of prepping your meals and stuff. It's just the fact of doing it that is the annoying part. And I don't disagree with you there. In fact, what the fuck am I saying? I do disagree with you there. Honestly, I do enjoy cooking. Like, I don't see why people hate cooking. I do enjoy, and I'm just a simple cooker, right? All I do is cook chicken breast for a living, and I really do enjoy it. But so time genuinely isn't the constraint when it comes to meal prepping. In fact, it helps you in time. What is the constraint for a lot of people, especially busy guys, is the food itself. You don't want to eat the bland chicken rice. You don't want to eat, you want to eat what you want to eat, and you don't want to eat shit food. Well, shit tasting food at least. What if I told you you don't have to eat bland chicken and rice? You don't. In fact, you can cook whatever you like. Now, obviously, don't eat the donuts. Don't eat the McDonald's burger. I'm saying, let's say you're following like a bodybuilder diet, and chicken and rice is the main meal. If you don't like rice, you don't have to eat rice, bro. I know it's crazy. You can replace it. You can replace it with a different type of carb. In this case, probably pasta. Pasta and chicken go pretty well. If you want to go for more of like a wrap, like a burrito type of thing, you can put the chicken inside of a burrito. You don't have to eat rice. And this is the thing, man. It's like a lot of people kind of you know, like they look at a diet and then they kind of like think to themselves that this is it. I need to follow this. It doesn't matter what I think. But honestly, guys, you'll stick to the diet if you like it more, right? That's just common sense. Of course, you'll stick to a diet if you actually like it. And I want you to actually like your diet. If you hate your diet, you're not going to stick to it. That's the thing. So in order to like your diet, obviously you need to eat foods that you like. Again, just replace the foods that you don't like with a reasonable, healthy alternative. If you don't like chicken, choose beef. If you don't like rice, choose pasta. It's really not as, you know, black and white as it seems. There's a lot of nuance to this, right? Again, don't eat the shit food like donuts and sugary stuff. That there's unhealthy foods that you should always avoid at all costs. And of course, if you do, you know, relapse and eat those things every now and then, that's fine. But I'm saying in like a general sense, eat the foods that you generally do enjoy that are relatively healthy, because those will go a long way. Again, like a inconsistent diet, that is the perfect diet done inconsistently, but is way worse than a you know, a non-perfect diet done consistently. The first one is way worse. So honestly, guys, don't sweat the foods that you actually eat too much. It's actually more important of what you can stick to, especially if you don't have a lot of time on your hands, right? Because like chances are you want to eat the more simple stuff that doesn't take a lot of time to make. And you know, if you how do you know if you're progressing in you know, your fitness journey? How do you know if you are making true progress or not? Well, guys, the first thing you need to realize is bodybuilding is a marathon, not a sprint, right? This is genuinely going to take a long time. If you're expecting to see results in the first couple weeks, honestly, you might, because newbie gains are a big thing. But you know, after that drop off point, then it kind of really does become a marathon. But honestly, take progress photos as soon, like, it doesn't matter, bro. I don't give a shit what you look like right now. Take a photo of yourself shirtless, from the side, from the front, and from the back if you want as well. Take those 3 photos for yourself right now, and I guarantee you will not regret doing that 6 months later, 1 year later, 2 years later, because you'll look back on those photos and just see how far you've come. Right, that was the biggest actual good thing that I did back then, was that I took a lot of photos of what I looked like when I started. And so I can look back on them now and just see how far I've come. Right? Because a lot of time, bro, you can't really see much progress on the mirror sometimes, because you see yourself every day, bro. But if you see yourself from like 3 months ago and then you look at yourself in the mirror, that'll be, you know, hopefully a pretty big difference. And for the amount of times you should be taking pictures, I'd say every like 3 months, honestly. It takes a while to see progress, and you don't want to be taking pictures every day, because then I mean, unless you're doing like a, you know, I took 1 photo every single day YouTube video, just take them every like month, every 2 months, every 3 months maybe. And the last way to know if you are making progress is, again, it's progressive overload. If you are getting stronger at your lifts, if you do notice that, you know, your bench press went from 40 kgs to 50 kgs in like 2 months, that's genuinely good, very good progress. That's really good progress, and you are building muscle underneath. If it's, you know, if it's hid by fat or something, that you still know you're building muscle underneath, because you are getting stronger. Because again, strength gains are a direct correlation of muscle growth. So those are the main ways I like to see progress. Alrighty then, I've told you everything that I know in terms of building a good physique on a tight schedule, right? Again, if you are a 9-to-5er, so you do work a job, or you just have a really tight schedule, really busy schedule, and you are serious about wanting to build a good body in the future, again, the first link in the description below is a booking call link. It's going to be a free booking call link, and you can just schedule a call with me, one-to-one advice, and I can see if I can help you with whatever situation that you're in. Because again, I don't know what, this is just general advice, right? I don't know what situation you're personally in. So again, only book if you are serious about wanting to build a good physique, and if you do work, you know, a 9-to-5. If you just are a busy person, then book, because I got you, bro. I got you, and I can tailor a plan specific to your own needs, alright? So if you are interested in that, man, go ahead and click that first link in the description below right now. But thank you, don't forget to subscribe. See ya.